Hey, this is Tim Kim with TM Media, and I wanted to go over a couple of things that go on in your head when you're making choices, and especially when you're buying something. And I tell people all the time, 9 times out of 10, people are relying on their emotional side of their brain to buy something. And I got two examples that really just show that. One's a personal purchase I made just a week ago, and then one is really funny story I heard about, or actually I saw happen. So anyways, basically you have two sides of thought when you're purchasing something. You have your irrational side and your logical side. Now everybody thinks that, they buy with their logical side. Very rarely do they. Logical side is basically looking at, they're probably considering how many ounces is this, is it a good buy, is it, what kind of ingredients is it organic, whatever it may be, things like that. The irrational side is saying, is this going to improve my life? Do I like the color of this bottle? I mean, really, people buy things for just crazy reasons, but they're very valid reasons. And this is a great example of it. I purchased a vehicle a couple weeks ago, and this is called a Mini Cooper Countryman, and I'll actually include a picture of it so you can see it. But I was analyzing my mind as far as what I was thinking about when I went through this whole process. When I started looking at cars, I went through every cars from very economical cars, green cars, to fast cars, and something I could afford. And I narrowed it down to this car, and then I said, okay, this is the car I like, I fit in it, it's comfortable, it looks cool, let me do some research. And I went through a few reviews, Edmunds, Blue Book, and then I got to Consumer Reports. And I know Consumer Reports is rated pretty highly on their reviews. So I looked at the 2012 review for this Mini Cooper, and it came out kind of in the middle of reliability, and that's one of the first things I look at. But then the 2013 one came out and said the reliability was the worst. And I just held my head and said, no, this can't be true. So I went around and I had to take a drink here. I went around and did some research, talked to some friends that own Mini Coopers, probably about 5 people. And most of them said, they've had minor issues, the car's great, they love it, things like that. But I was thinking, even if I heard major issues, I wouldn't want to believe it. So it really didn't even make a point to even talk to those people, because on my emotional side, my irrational side, I already made the decision, I want this car. Why? Because I love the color. I can customize the mirrors on it. I picked these little orange mirrors you'll see in the picture. I made it look a little funky looking. The interior was cool. It has this big center console with this cool LED display, and I love the color orange, so it has these orange things. And, other thoughts in there. I'm like, why am I really buying this? Is it going to make me look sexier, feel younger? I mean, these are the questions that go through a lot of people's minds, and bottom line, is this going to make my life better? So it's very true when we go through the process of buying. We buy mainly on emotion. So needless to say, I did buy the car, and I will put up a picture of it. Another great example of this, and this was really funny. I recently had to go get my oil changed for my wife's car. And I went to the service center, and while I was sitting there, I saw this car come in. and its brakes were just screaming in pain to replace the brakes. It was like this old Mustang, and the rotors and brakes definitely needed to be replaced. Let me get a drink of water here. So, guy comes in, and I didn't really hear the details at first, but he wasn't buying brakes. He was buying rims. And the salesman said, you need to replace those brakes. I mean, you can't even legally go down the street, really, with those brakes. So, what did he do? He kept his squeaky, screeching brakes, and he put brand new alloy rims on them. Went out as a happy customer, right out the door, flew right up the street with these nice, shiny new rims and these still screeching for pain brakes. So a lot of times it's not that drastic, but it's just a great example of how people will put priorities on something. He needed to replace it, but brakes weren't really exciting. And they're not. Rotors and brakes, who cares? I mean, actually, on high-performance cars, they actually are coloring brakes now, and they show them more visible to the rims because they kind of look cool, and of course they sell more. But before, and even now, brakes and rotors are just not that exciting. It's just something you need to fix. Rims are exciting because they're pretty, they make you feel good, and etc. So those are just great examples on how things work and how your decision process goes between your rational thought and your logical reasoning. Hope this kind of gave you some insight, and we'll send out some more videos soon. Thanks.